So we are back in action on Thursday against Fenerbahce in what is going to be a truly difficult away test, I would assume. Would you not?
Yeah, very much so.
On that note, I think let's have a chat about the game then. Welcome back to the latest episode of B16 and Beyond. You are here with me and Corey to discuss what we believe should be the team for Fenerbahce, what to expect in the game, and what we expect from Aston Villa. Now, I need to be very clear, I'm not an expert on Turkish football, but I do know somewhat about the players that Fenerbahce do have, so we can have somewhat of a conversation on what to expect in the game. But I think the first point we need to go through is really what kind of a team and what are we expecting from Aston Villa Football Club. Now, I don't know about you, Corey, but I don't particularly see Villa going in full strength to win this game. Yes, top two would be absolutely swimmingly wonderful and it would make everything rosy. But I think Unai Emery might have in the back of his mind managing the squad, managing the minutes, avoiding any further injuries. Because if we was to get another really bad injury, it could do serious impact to our potential Champions League hopes in the league. So I think Unai's going to have one eye on that, especially with a tricky away game at St James's Park.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's loads of different ways to approach the game on Thursday. I think I was reading today. Obviously, we're guaranteed a spot in the top 24. I know, obviously, we'll be wanting. You want a minimum of top 8, really. So that means we can obviously sort of afford a loss potentially and then beat Salzburg, and then that would guarantee us a sort of top 8 role. Like you say, for me, it's too much of a risk to be saying starting certain players because, as you say, if we do have any injuries, Newcastle are a strong team, whether we like it or not, and whether they're playing well or not, they are a strong team and they've got strong players. And ultimately, if we're having to go to St James's Park, which is a tough place to go anyway, and obviously Villa haven't got the best record at St James's Park as it is, but if we're having to go there with 18-year-olds starting the game, let alone just on the bench, and it's going to be a horrible experience for them, and it just wouldn't look great for Villa. So I think it is important that we do go into it with a bit of smarts and just say, listen, not throw the game, but if we can try and nick a point with sort of backup players in, that wouldn't be the worst result.
Yeah, but the thing is, we could go there and shit out a result. But looking at the Fenerbahce side, there's one player obviously stands out to me, and it's not John Jada Duran. I couldn't really give a monkey's ass about John Duran. Like, look, ultimately he's a goal scorer, but they've got multiple goal scorers in the side that can hurt us. It's about our job. Our job is doing our job right and doing our defensive work right. And I think if we do play to the best of our ability defensively, we can keep a clean sheet over there. Why not? But what I will say is Marco Asensio worries me. I think he'll cause us so many problems. We've seen the level of ability that Marco Asensio does have. Yeah, it's a real sore one for me. I feel emotional when I talk about Marco Asensio. I'm not going to cry on camera, I promise. But no, I feel I'm a very, very disappointed Villa fan every time I speak about Marco Asensio. It does feel like a massive missed opportunity not bringing him back to the club. But hey-ho, that's where we're at. So I am really concerned with what he could potentially produce against us.
Yeah, 100%. I think, listen, we obviously saw his qualities last year in those final 6 months of the season, and the one thing that worries me the most, especially off the back of that Everton game, is Yuri Tielemans is not a defensive-minded midfielder. Lamar Bogard is probably the likely option in that position, so it means Lamar Bogard is going to have to be on Asensio's every move. If Asensio walks off the pitch, gets subbed off, you follow him. That's how much, because ultimately, if he finds any pockets of space, which is what he's good at, and he runs at the back four, it's going to cause problems. Because like I say, I know you're not overly concerned about him, but we both know what Duran's like. He'll make the runs off of Asensio, creating options, and then that's where you have the split in the defence, which means Asensio can either get shots off or
get one of these, and we'll throw one out there. Here's one to think about. What is the possibility that he potentially starts Victor Lindelof at defensive midfield?
I think he starts centre half.
I don't know, mate.
It wouldn't surprise me if he went Mings and Lindelof. It really wouldn't.
Maybe. I just
just
think having his experience in the centre of the park, he actually was a defensive midfielder when he was younger, and he moved into centre half
Yeah,
because of his ball playing ability. So, and I'm just thinking with a player of Asensio's quality, would he stick someone as experienced as Victor Lindelof there to kind of basically say sit on him? Because Lamar Bogard, if he's at defensive mid, I don't want to sound rude. I love Bogard, but that would scare the shit out of me.
yeah, I completely agree. I think, do you know what? It's a fair point you bring up, and I think we always do it with these things. Should we go through the team of what we expect? I think obviously Bizot and
I think
goals
we'll clash on this. Yeah, I'd agree with Bizot. Right back will have to be Matty Cash because we don't have another right back. It ain't going to be Garcia. That's realistic. Centre half, does he go Konsa? Well, who else is it going to be? It's not going to be Garcia.
Again, could he throw one in the works and go Garcia just because?
I don't even know if Garcia's gone. He might be getting sold by then. Who knows?
Well, yeah. This is the thing. I think from a standpoint of what we expect compared to what you'd like to see is different. I think, like for me, I'd be more than happy if we put out all the like squad players in the game and just try and get whatever result we can. Like I'd be happy with that if it meant that we didn't have any injuries for Newcastle and going forward in the Premier League. But I think obviously we've got to be serious about it and say Matty Cash will probably start right back. Centre backs, I think Lindelof comes in. Whether he comes in,
I think Konsa plays,
or whether he comes in left centre half.
I think it'll be Konsa and Mings.
Okay, I could see it.
I think Luca Digne will come in. That's where I'm going to go. Tielemans, and I'm going to throw one out there. And I think Lindelof might play. You might even see Bogard at right back.
Potentially. Here comes the fun part. Sancho, if he's not ill, will probably start, I imagine.
He will start if he's not ill.
Rodgers will start.
Rodgers plays every single game, so he'll start.
Will start.
And then Evan Gesson up top, up the Evan Gesson, what a player.
It might be Evan Gesson up top. It genuinely
fucking will be, mate. Sorry, Villa fans. Sorry to give you that optimistic thing to look forward to. Evan Gesson up front. I don't know who scouted him, but whoever scouted him is fucking sorry.
We get to play him in his proper position, so you never know.
Well, yeah. Well, and if he produces
so well
an absolute disaster,
from what I'm hearing,
and he produces an absolute disaster class, then I think between us, Villa fans, if for all of those of you that are listening to the channel now, I'm pretty sure we'll get a few of you on here. If we all chip in a fair amount of money, we may be able to pay an assassin to go and get Mancha. Because I think he's had an absolute disaster this summer transfer window, which it looked all right on paper, but it's been absolutely fucking horrendous, hasn't it? Apart from Lindelof.
Positive way to look at it. Gesson might be on his way to Besiktas, so he might use it as a chance to score against their arch rivals and just say, do you know what? This one's for you, lads. I'll be back with you soon.
That
might be what we do. Maybe we pick up Tammy Abraham on the way and just leave Gesson there and just say,
positive thoughts and all that.
Obviously we're only joking around. Listen, I personally think it is a bit reactionary about Gesson. I'm not a massive fan of his, but I do think, listen, we've got to give him a bit of time to sort of settle in, and if he does start...
we could all be eating our words in a few months, couldn't we? Everyone could be like, oh my God, we was all wrong, but like, it's just... you know what it is, Corey? You see, with these players, you do kind of see that some of them have got something, but with him, it's hard, man. It's just hardly... The only thing, the weekend, he made that really good run, and then he fucked up the finish, in the first half. Yeah. Man, if he scores that in front of the North Stand and puts it in the back of the net, like...
And then it's a header off the crossbar.
Yeah, we could kickstart his Villa career, mate. Like, who know, you know what I mean? We just... Anyway, let's move past Gesson, because we could turn into a slander fest against
We could do a whole podcast on Evan Gesson and how he's going to be the best centre midfielder the Premier League's ever seen at one stage in his career.
I could be best right back in the Premier League. His tackling's fantastic. He made a few good tackles against Everton. Anyway, look, Fenerbahce got some players that can hurt us. And Anderson Talisca is another one who's a very
Yeah.
decent player. You got John Duran who can come off the bench. They've got players in that squad that can cause us some problems. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely hostile, as it always is in Turkey. The centre of the park, they've got Guendouzi, who we've courted a few times and looked at, according to reports. They've got players like Fred on the bench, the old Manchester United player who can still come on and do
Ederson
a
in
job.
goal.
Yeah, well, I'm not too worried about him. He was a donkey at Manchester City before he left. But they've got
abilities second to none there.
Yeah, but with all due respect, I want a goalkeeper to be able to do the job in goal. Passing's one thing, but if you can't save a ball from going in the back of the net, then you're not a really good goalkeeper, in my opinion. They've got Soyuncu as well, who obviously hasn't been starting that many games recently. But yeah, he's another one that's back. Just for the Premier League fans, also Nelson Semedo, the Wolverhampton Wanderers ex-captain as well, who's a very good, very, very capable right back. So, they've got a very good side, let's be realistic. But, if we go there and do our job, why can't we get a result? We've got a good team ourselves. It's not out of the realms of possibility that we don't get a result. That would be my my argument to anyone.
Listen, they've struggled in the Europa League as well. Let's say it how it is. If they lose to us and results go certain ways, they'll be out of the top 24, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here. I know their results. You won last time. I say you off the night, pal.
No, they were quite low down up until the last game. But again, they've played what? They've played 6 games, won 3, drawn 2, lost 1.
Right. Okay. Well, it is what it is. So, what's your score prediction? How do you think we'll get on?
It's going to be tough saying it without a team. If we go weak, I will say 1-1. Optimistic. If we go for a semi-strong team, I will say we'll nick it 1-0.
I think it'd be a draw. I usually back us to win, but I think Turkey's a difficult place to go. And if you offered me a point now, I'd take it. But it wouldn't surprise me if I see a reaction from the lads after the weekend and we go there and we turn them over. Realistically, the Premier League's such a higher standard of football than every single league in the world, in my opinion. Maybe you can make an argument for La Liga. I think La Liga's got a lot stronger recently. The Bundesliga's shite. The Serie A shite. Apart from Bayern Munich, obviously, the rest of them they're all shite. I think it could be a draw. That's what I'll go for. Yeah. So apart from that, I don't really think we've got much else to speak about because kind of know what to expect from going to Turkey. It's going to be a hostile atmosphere for the Villa boys. It's going to be, going to be a very tricky game. But ultimately, let's stick together. The game the weekend against Everton was a blip. Unai Emery will get it right. We will get some transfers through the door over the next few days. And everything will be hunky-dory, ladies and gentlemen. So as always, from myself and Corey, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.